The title of this video is Strategies for Critical Reading. Graduate school obviously requires a lot of reading assignments. Many students start graduate school thinking that it's okay to skim through their reading assignments, or when they conduct a review of the literature, again, they skim through the articles. However, that strategy have proven faulty for many students in the past because they find themselves having difficulty understanding the main points of the reading. Another problem that students have is using a lot of direct quotations from the readings because students may have difficulty articulating the main point, or they're not comfortable necessarily with their own voice or how they understand the reading. So again, they depend on utilizing the actual words from the authors who have written articles or chapters in a book. In fact, many students miss the whole point of an article or reading assignments. Again, possibly because they're skimming through and they just want to get to writing whatever paper that they need to. Now, so it's really unfortunate that students have learned the hard way that graduate school requires students to engage in critical reading, which also involves engaging in critical thinking about what is it that they're reading. So critical thinking really is connected to a student's ability to develop critical thinking skills as well as critical writing skills. This lecture is based on page 8 and 9 in the Harrison Kunka's textbook that is required for this course. The authors identified 8 reading strategies for critical reading. The first is previewing. And previewing requires or involves reading a little bit about the author and the topic to get a sense of what the work is about. And when I say work, it's in relationship to, again, the article or the chapter that you're reading. Students will be doing this as part of reviewing the literature. For example, reviewing the literature is not the same as writing a literature review. All right? I'll cover that in another lecture. Typically, when searching for appropriate peer-reviewed journal articles, it's necessary to read the title and the abstract first. There might also be information about the authors. Reviewing the table of contents in the book, and maybe even reading the introduction of the article or first couple of pages in a textbook. That's all part of previewing. Next is summarizing and paraphrasing. After reading an article or a chapter, it's important to summarize and/or paraphrase the main points that you got out of the readings. You can also do this by, as you're reading, use a highlighter by highlighting the main sentences that you think stand out for you in terms of, well, what is this article all about? What are the main points? And then again, at the end, summarize it and paraphrase it. Use your own words in terms of how did you understand what the main point of the article is. This is where students find helpful when they do the article summary. That is one of the assignments for this course. Being able to summarize in your own words will help you to articulate, again, your understanding about what you're reading without having to depend on direct quotations. Keep in mind that there are a lot of professors, including myself, who would recommend, if not require students to use their own words and not to have any direct quotations in their written assignments. The next strategy is reflecting and contextualizing, which is important for social workers. And what I mean by that is that when you're reading an article or a chapter or a book, students should reflect on the knowledge, values, and skills that are conveyed in the reading and to determine if that information fits with the knowledge, the values, and the skills of social work practice. And equally important, not just social work practice, but how does it fit with social work practice in rural settings and with rural populations, or with any given population that you've selected to write about. Analyzing and evaluating are strategies to determine the author's purpose for writing the article or the book. For example, are the authors reporting on their findings or results of a research project that they've conducted? Then you can get a sense of, well, again, what is the purpose? To then share information in terms of their findings, could be about the effectiveness of an intervention with a particular group. Okay, and then finally, synthesizing what you read, and then again, it's really putting it all together, not just by article, but synthesizing all of the materials that you've read, because you're not just going to read one article for one assignment. You're going to read a bunch of articles to see how they all fit. So you want to be able to synthesize. In other words, making connections with the various readings, the main points, ideas. Also, you're synthesizing not just what you read, but also what you're learning in the other courses and also in the field. So you should be asking yourself, how does this work? How does this reading help you to advance your understanding of any given topic? Again, synthesizing requires students to utilize their own work, to utilize their own words. Again, that's a short video. I hope this was useful, and we can have more discussions about this during our synchronous session. Thank you.